changes. So for that, I want to explain you like in today's market, the risk is increased, so lenders are not going to approve they used to do it before. So I just want to go through these five C's so you can understand better because clients always think emotionally and we have to think logically. It's money matter. So that is the difference. So how we can explain the client and how we can explain ourselves also. Live हो गया वैसे? All right, let's start today. So five C's of credit. So five C's of credit. Number one, capacity, character, collateral, credit, and capital. We will talk about that. When we put our notes during the submission of application, we check that we cover all these five C's. Based on that, the underwriter make the decision how much amount and what rate, especially if we go to the A lending. A lending means like six big banks plus the prime lenders. Their rate of interest is pretty much same for everyone, right? But when it comes to a B lending, when it comes to a private lending, these five C's are very important in that case. They are important in the prime lending also, but the rate of interest doesn't much affect based on that. If it's approved for 5-year fix. Their rate list is this, so they will give a rate to that. Same to everyone, right? And the reason for that, last week, a couple of agents refer a couple of customers, and there is so many challenges to understand the details of the credit report. The score seems okay. The score is 690 or 700, but there's so many other things that we have to check in detail. So, for example, capacity. Capacity is very important actually. Why? It is, can you afford the payment along with other living and credit expenses? The lender want to know if you can handle the debt, if you will be able to repay the mortgage loan. Your income is reviewed and the lender will crunch some numbers to determine your total debt service ratio. So does that mean it is directly linked to your income? So GDS and TDSR are the result of the capacity. So in high ratio mortgages, where the down payment is less than 20%, how much the GDSR? GDSR means
Gross debt ratio.
yes, gross debt service ratio.
Yeah.
It means your monthly principal and interest payment plus property tax plus standard 100 or 150 or $200 heating cost based on the size of the house, and the 50% of the condo fee, your maintenance fee we call it, should not be higher than 39% of your income. You can say, you can compare with the month to month, you can compare annually also. So if it is higher than 39%, so the file will, or your mortgage application will not get approved. That is in high ratio cases. Where the down payment is 20% or higher than 20%, in that case, some exceptions are there, but it should not be more than 44%. Some of the prime lenders, they don't have a GDSR restrictions for the conventional mortgages where the down payment is over 20%. So capacity, why are we choosing this ratios basically? Because consumer have other expenses also. You have to live the life. You have a car insurance, and you have maybe other bill payments, insurances, personal insurances, and we're paying for groceries, all
Subscriptions.
any other expenses from retail to any other your personal expenses. You have a hobbies, you have a sports person playing golf, anything, or you want to eat every week out, that cost is also right. So that's why the regulator says, so 39%, your roof should not be cost more than 39%. if in if you fit in that, then you can live a quite a happy life because the ratios of your income and expense are balanced. So that is the purpose of that, right? So we have to understand that part. And capacity is also, um, for example, if somebody asks, can I borrow some money from you, even $100 or $1,000, what the first thing comes in your mind, even as a friend or a family?
Will he return it back?
Yes, sir. When he gonna return the money back, and how he gonna, I mean, monthly or in one shot, or is the person has a capacity to return the money back or not? So when we can think, then why not lender who's giving us hundreds of thousands of dollars? But yes, we can say, oh, they have a lien on my property because they registered the mortgage on the property. Fine, that is not enough for them because they are in the business to make income, because they have to give the dividends to the investors, they have to give a returns to the the stock owners. So this is a whole, and they have a employees to, they have to give us salaries to that. So they have to generate income in shape of interest. So how they can generate the income when customers are paying
On time.
on time? So that is why capacity is very important. Sometimes the customer says, oh, I'm buying for $1 million house, I'm paying 50% down. There is a great cushion and great security for the lender. But if you're not paying payments after 6 months, lender doesn't want to go to the proceedings of the power of sale and all these things, because it looks bad in the lender's books also, because their bad debts, they increasing. So when I used to work for a financial institution, so how they calculate their defaults, basically, there's a Canadian overall Canadian default ratio for all financial institutions, basically is less than 1%. Or if a particular financial institution's default ratio is higher than the national ratios, it means there's something wrong in their process. Or as an individual, when I used to work for a financial institutions as a mortgage specialist, on that time they used to calculate the same way. If my personal book of my portfolio, for example, I did a $50 million mortgages in 1 year in volume with the financial institutions, and my default ratios or my client's default ratio is higher than the overall national default ratios, then something wrong with my process. So that's why the capacity is very important. And when we meet a client, we need to ask so many questions to the client about that. Where you work, first of all, you're a full-time employee, part-time employee. If it's part-time employee, how many guaranteed hours? If it's a full-time employee, how long you working with that company? If just a 6 months before, okay, there's still a risk because yes, but it's a 6 months. It's under probation or not? If you are a self-employed, what kind of a business you are in? You see, during COVID, so many businesses got affected, especially the restaurants business, taxi, limousine businesses. So, based on the current market situations, we have to analyze what kind of a business the customer is in, and 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 some projections also, basically. So there was some announcement, I think, so about lately one a big company for laying off.
Recently.
Tell us. Was it tell us?
I think so, it's
Yeah,
Tell
tell
Us.
In
us.
fact, yesterday also there was an
Careless laid off
announcement.
people.
Yeah.
This news, Toronto Sun,
Uh-huh.
they're
Oh,
laying off 600 people.
wow.
So you can see now, if your client is new at the job and that industry is getting affected by the current economic situation and they have to lay off people, in that case, your client may be, you know, on the line.
Correct, yeah.
If the customer is working for a company for 6 7 years, so definitely seniority is there, because we know the basic formula mostly employer they use. Amit is definitely has HR background, and the seniority is very important when they lay off people, right? So
So when
And
they, as a mortgage agent,
mhm,
if they, after the client has signed up and the mortgage is approved,
mhm,
after that, after 3 4 months, if he's laid off,
mhm.
does it affect anything? Does it affect you as a broker?
No.
No, it will not. It's a genuine case, and things happens. And financial institutions, they are well aware of that, and we do have to educate the customer. If any kind of this situation happens, do contact us. So all the financial institutions, they try to help the client.
Okay.
They try to help the client in that case. Okay, all right, you can miss a payment, we understand that, but they can defer the payment. It's all depend, but customer need to talk to the financial institution. They don't need to hide the situation or just okay, nothing will happen. No, the communication is very important with that, and the lenders always try to help the clients on, because they don't want that they have to go to the last resource of proceeding of power of sale. No, they don't want, no lender want that.
Right.
Yeah, they want their customers stay financially healthy, and the lenders keep generating the monthly revenue in shape of their monthly payments.
One thing, sir.
Mhm.
So this is a whole new other discussion altogether, because even when I was a buyer, and
Mhm.
also the buyer that I'm seeing, most of the buyers have a misconception, or it is the buyer's fear, we shall say, that lenders, they want to be very careful about which lender they choose. Regardless of the lender, everyone is having a misconception of that. Okay, if I miss the payment, they are going to do a power of sale. They are not under an impression that the lender is ready to help them or work with them in the situation of a crisis.
Okay, when I used to work with a financial institution, I used to have a conversations with the default insurance companies,
CMHC.
Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, Sagen,
See,
and Canada Guarantee, right? So they do have a programs. If somebody bought a property high ratio, less than 20% down, and in case of default, the lenders are secured by these default insurance companies if there any loss occur. So these default insurance companies do have a programs. Go on their websites that they, for example, you own a semi-detached house or a detached house. So a financial institution may give you a small loan to finish your basement to generate your income to
pay out the
pay out the. It helps to pay out the loan. There are some. Definitely, again.
Yeah, that's what. Whenever the concept of lending or
Mhm,
borrowing comes up
mhm,
with the borrowers,
mhm.
they it is very generic. Of course, you might have known this very well than me. They have a fear of that. Okay, this lender, if I miss one payment, they are going to put power of sale on my
One
property.
payment is not a power sale, but
Yeah.
one thing will affect all the major prime lenders.
Mm.
They report to Equifax and TransUnion.
Mm.
All the mortgages shows in there, and if there's one late payment, it will show a late payment,
Mm.
and
there's
that
so
late
much
payment
idea
will
that
impact in the future also,
Mm.
right? That is for sure. But in this situation, talk to the financial institution, go to the branch, talk to their customer service, email them, this is my situation, I need some help. What are your programs, or is there any in genuine situations, all financial institutions, they want to help you in some
Now
way.
you can
But it's
educate your
gonna affect
customers.
me.
Definitely. And one more thing, the question you asked, because we're talking today about 5 C's,
Mm.
right? So we are on the first one, capacity.
Mm.
And one more thing, majority of the lenders, they have a one option called miss a payment.
Mm.
What is that?
Delay payment. Yeah.
Miss a payment.
Okay.
All right. So what happens when, for example, you save some money
Mm.
and you do a prepayment?
Mm.
Mm.
In first year, your monthly payment is $2,000 a month. So you have a $10,000 saved a year. Okay, you want to prepayment the principal amount, right? But that prepayment, you paid it. The financial institution I used to work, what they used to have in future, if this kind of situations occur, you can ask them, whatever the prepayment I did it,
Adjust that.
adjust that, they will do it,
Got it.
right?
It won't affect their credit, right?
Definitely, yes. But the communication is very important here.
Mm.
So there is a miss a payment options also. Majority of the prime lenders, they do have a miss a payment.
But then because of that extra payment that you do, the prepayment,
Mhm.
then the lenders adjust their payments per month or such things, right?
Yes, they have a,
So all that goes back.
yes, they have a,
Contributed.
for example, you did a 5 payments in advance.
Hmm.
So since you pay these payments, your principal is, in your mortgage payment, the amount of principal increased.
Correct.
So you're paying your house faster.
Yeah.
Your motivation is getting lower now. When you miss a payment, so there is a reverse calculations, and they will adjust it accordingly. But your credit will not affect,
Mm.
right? And so that's why paying some extra is always better.
So I think usually they don't adjust your monthly payments. They just adjust the amortization period.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So that's why when we sit with a client, we have to talk about these all minute things, because it helps them.
And
And majority of the agents, mortgage agents, they forget to tell about that.
Mm, mm. And this option, say for example, just in case if I haven't paid any, prepayment, this option I can't use it.
You can use it, but talk to the financial
Got it,
institutions. When there are notes in your system,
Uh,
right,
uh,
that this customer is going through any financial crunch or hardship or any, for example, in most of the cases, is in case of somebody's death. Bank not gonna do right away power of sales now. They will try to help the customer. Right. So these are the things are very important to share with the customer. Like one biggest example, in high ratio mortgage, there is a default insurance premium. How many of us tell the customer there is a PST on the premium that is not added in the mortgage? When they're going to a lawyer to sign the documents, for example, $20,000 is a premium, and PST is 8%. So it's a $1,600. So customers are maybe in their accounting, they
Penny
never
to penny.
added it, right? And suddenly the $1,600, the lawyer said, "Oh, nobody told us," but they have to pay that. So tell them to add in their closing cost.
Many customers they just go penny by penny. Okay, we need this much, so
Yes.
that's what I have to arrange.
So they do have a right to do accounting penny to penny, because they're buying a big house here. Right? It's a big purchase and big loan they're getting it, right?
Even while arranging the funds, they
Mhm.
know that this much fund they need,
Yeah.
and then that's what they collect.
Yeah.
And then at the last moment, if they get the surprise that additional 1,600, then it's a shock.
Definitely. And I also tell the customer there's adjustments will happen too.
Hmm.
For example, the closing is in July,
Mm,
right?
mm.
And the customer paid the property tax for the full year.
Yeah.
So it's 5.5 months. Property tax has to be get adjusted because the seller will not get back that money from city.
Mm.
So the lawyers adjusted that money. So the buyer has to pay that money extra.
Mm.
That will go to the seller.
Mm.
But the whatever the seller paid to the city,
Mm.
that buyer will take a benefit of it.
Oh, yeah, but sir, this is a very gray area
Mhm,
when it comes to the property taxes while we are buying in the middle of the year.
mhm,
As a buyer, because one is the adjustments which even I was not aware earlier.
mhm,
When the adjustments are being made, I was having a thinking. I didn't argue, but I was having a thinking. The seller enjoyed the property until the time that they were there, so they are paying the property tax for the time that they have enjoyed the property
Yeah.
in this year.
mhm.
So why should I have to pay for their
No,
whatever
till
they did?
the closing date,
Mm,
the date of closing
mm.
is your responsibility.
Okay.
Even that day, property tax is your responsibility.
I get
Basically,
it.
you know,
Yeah.
Everything, utilities.
because now you are going to enjoy.
No, yeah, but
But they pay for the whole year.
okay,
They pay for the whole year.
okay. Just in case if they paid only for
Yes,
the
yes.
particular month.
So what I'm trying to say,
Mm,
use the word adjustments.
mm,
There's a maintenance fee adjustment in
Mm.
case of condominium. There is
property tax.
property tax adjustments also, right?
Utilities probably.
In some cases, can be utilities also because I got my Brampton the water bill today, and I see there's some surplus money in there in the bill, so it was a credit. So if this in that situation, yes,
Yeah.
there's adjustments, right? Yeah.
Mm,
So that's a capacity is a key. All these C's are very key, but capacity is the one major
mm,
because that brings the confidence and lender that you making enough income that you can repay the mortgage, not even the mortgage, even because in the ratios, so we talk about GDSR, there's also a TDSR ratios. And there will be a question in your exam also for that. GDSR, TDSR. Because this is the base of the approval.
Yeah.
Because regulators give some you can say a tolerance that it should not be higher than this or GDS and TDSR. So TDSR is the total debt service ratio that includes your principal and interest payment, that is mortgage payment, property tax payment, 50% condominium fee in case of condo apartment, 100, 150 or $200 heat basically. And how I calculate heat, I usually calculate the heat 5 cents per square foot. If his house is 3,000 square feet, so I used 150 usually. So but standard they take $100, but I take extra basically in this case because for 3,000 square foot house, heating cost is not going to be $100 if you're living almost 30 days in the house, right? And any other payments, they are reflecting in the credit report. Car payments, auto loan, auto lease, student loan, personal loan, line of credits and credit cards, any balance in the line of credits and credit cards, you have to take a 3% off the balance.
It's of the balance or the credit limit?
Balance.
Okay.
Balance.
Was confused.
Yes, balance. Yes. If a credit card or credit line of credit unsecured limit is 10,000, you use for 5,000, so 3% is 150 monthly payment that you get. In case if even the customer says, okay, I'm paying interest only, no, we are taking 3% of the balance. Right? So that is TDSR. That should not be more than 44%. That is a max, and that is a very healthy. But some lenders, based on if you have a great credit, very long-term income, have a liquid assets beside the down payment, and your TDSR is 45%. Sometimes there is exceptions also. In some cases, there can be exception on the little bit higher also, 2 or 3% higher also. But it's all depend. All depend. If it's very strong case, yes, there is a couple of percentage, couple of points can exception, but it cannot be go like 55, 50, 60 or something like that, you know. But yes, prime lenders, I'm not talking about all of them, but in some cases, yes, there I seen the exception 48%, 49% also. But when I go to another C's, then I will explain you, because all the C's has to be stronger in that case.
So, there was one case to my friend, she was applying for mortgage and I was sitting with her.
Mm-hmm.
So, she said, I get this much rental income from my second house.
Mm-hmm.
So, the mortgage agent said, नहीं, इससे तो, your GDSR is going down.
Mm-hmm.
And then I asked why, and she did explain, but I didn't understand. But अगर घर से rental income आ रहा है second house से,
Mm-hmm.
so that should be your income capacity, right?
Of course.
So how does that affect the GDSR negatively?
Okay, the financial institution I used to work, so they're still using that formula.
Mhm.
For example, you have a rental property,
Mhm.
and your rent is $3,000 a month.
Hmm.
So they take the 50% of the rent,
Okay. Mhm.
and a monthly mortgage payment is $2,500.
Hmm.
So 100% of the mortgage payment, principal interest payment, and 50% of the
Rental.
rental. So in this case, 50% rental income is $1,500, but your mortgage payment is $2,500.
Mhm.
So there is a deficit for $1,000. So that $1,000 you have to use in the TDSR.
Not in GDSR.
Yeah. So if the TDSR ratio is okay with the deficit, with the monthly, because this extra liability, right?
$1,000 is extra liability.
Yeah,
Based on this financial institution,
correct.
and the other financial institution, what they use, there's a rental worksheet.
Mm.
So you fill the information in there. So rental income annually this much, principal and interest payment is this much, your property taxes this much, and other things are heating is basically utilities are paid by the tenant, and you have to prove it by the lease agreement, right? If the tenant is paying the the heating and the utilities, in this case, you have to add that in there. But in majority of cases, tenant pays the utilities. In case of his condo apartment, you have to add them 50% of the maintenance fee.
Mm.
Right? Some lender maybe put at 100% of the maintenance fee, and on that time they will see total income, that is rental, and total expenses. They also take maybe $100 maintenance or 10% of a rent loss. For example, tenant lived for 1 year. 1 year. After that, the tenant left. Then you put the
Add again.
on the MLS listing or hire a real estate agent, or you put on any online,
Facebook,
on social media. But 1 month is gone, and the next month tenant started, so you lose 1 month. So usually we can use 10% of the rent loss also. So after that, they will see if the income is 130, 1 to 1.3 ratio, they usually take it, right? So you understand exactly what I'm trying to say? So every financial institutions have a little bit different, but majority is most comfortable when your income is leftover is 100 and one, what I'm saying, 130?
130.
Yeah, 1,000 to 1,300, 1.3.
1.3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, 100, 130
Then yeah, it's balanced.
means the income must be higher than the expenses. So that property is taking care of itself. So it's writing off itself.
Yeah.
So there is no loss, no profit situations in that case. But in some cases, there is a basement also on the rent. So then you have a surplus, then you can use the surplus.
Okay.
or multiple properties, then rental worksheet, they check the DCRs. I don't know exactly the full form exactly, but I will definitely let you know. But this is the way the bank does it. Every financial institution, they have their own rental worksheet, and they have a little change formula, and that maybe it can be in shape of Excel sheet also sometime. So it automatically calculated that way.
So that
Sir, on
shows,
the, sorry.
that shows if the property has negative cash flow or positive cash flow.
Yes,
If it
sir.
is positive, it will impact you in a good way. If it is negative, it will impact you in a
Bad.
bad
That's a
way.
short and sweet. Amit said it right now.
Yeah.
Right?
How do we, get, say for example, sir, this one, say miss a payment option or all the other kinds of, the leverages that the lender gives. On the lender side, where can we find all this information? Of course, it varies from one order.
This is in their program. When
Yeah.
you see any lenders products and policies,
Hmm.
it's always there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to go through and read it.
Okay.
And when you get approval for a customer, read the commitment. Read every single line in the commitment, and give a best information from the commitment to the client. Most of the customer doesn't know that variable rate. They always think is like a variable is open. It's a variable close, because prime minus is variable close. If variable open is prime plus these days. So your product is prime minus 0.5% discount, but the other thing's open. It's not open. There's always 3 months interest penalty there.
Yeah.
So we have to explain them. Every product has an open and close. Variable is not always open. So so many clients actually, they always thinking it's a variable rate is open, right? So we have to explain them. Adjustable variable.
So variable, you're saying is 3 months minus is variable close.
No, this is a product I will talk in later on.
Okay.
Basically, it's totally different, details. Yeah. So it will be mix so many things. But
So अगर वो mortgage finish करते हैं
Mhm.
तो 3 months का लगेगा,
Penalty, 3 months
penalty
interest.
लगेगी.
No, then you can break any moment. Any moment means you buying the property today. In any circumstances, you have to sell it, or you want to pay your mortgage within a month also. So lender
Happened
charge.
with me recently, and I did not know, and I did not understand. I said 3 महीने का क्यों लगा रहे हैं ये penalty?
Okay.
So they said नहीं, Equitable does that. So I said okay, if Equitable. I didn't realize that variable open and close and.
It's not Equitable does that,
Yeah.
but
I know now I'm understanding the thing.
that's why you have to explain it everything to the customer. When I used to sit with a
I know.
customer,
Seriously.
as a page by page, paragraph by paragraph. If customer is not understanding it, I don't want you to sign this commitment. Because if customer didn't understand and later 1 year or 2 years there's a penalty, they should have to write a simple email, oh, nobody told me. That's okay, they sign it, but I want to make sure that customer understand every single thing. And even I ask the customer, make your notes, please, on one side.
Hmm.
Or highlight the commitment. Take a second copy of the commitment and highlight those things. And especially those points, tell the customer to initial on the commitment. That is very important for that. I will show you one commitment in future, right? Because today we're just talking about these 5 C's, right? So, any other question about capacity? Because this is, I'm talking about the
What did you
Because-
say is DCR?
DCR.
DCR.
DCR?
I will take the few, some say DSR, DCR. I will exactly let you know after that, Yeah. In case of self-employed, and if you're applying for B lending, how they check the capacity, because mostly B lending lenders, they don't ask for T1 journals or NOA, how much you file, your personal taxes and all these things. But they have one self-declared letter. And they ask for the business account statements for 1 year or 6 months. how much is the annual revenue, how much you're paying to all the expenses, and how much is the net business income. Based on that, they calculate your capacity. But overall business, you have it's our responsibility. You have to see the revenue is decreasing or increasing, how long the business is running, how much experience the customer has in that business. So many facts involved in there. In current market situation, I'm giving an example. Somebody told me that one of the financial institution changed some guidelines for business for self cases because they've seen a decline um, in fine dining in restaurants, sale in fine. Also, there
Yeah.
is a decline in some transportation industry also,
Yeah, everywhere.
and also they seen there is another one, a decline in a certain sector of IT, certain sector of IT maybe. So based on that, any clients belongs to these businesses, if their uh, declared income from the business in shape of salary and dividend l- higher than certain amount, they have to provide their 2 years financials, and they have to provide 6 months business account statements also. So we have to keep our eyes and ears open because these all economic news, it impact us. Customer doesn't read that,
Yeah.
but we have to read that. We have to analyze that, and we have to consult with each other and educate the customer. Healthy economy.
Nobody.
If the customer's financial institution, this is the way. This is the always I say. If a citizen of a country and their finances are very healthy, they're in a good shape, it affects to cities, to province, to the country, to the whole globe. Of course, whole globe. We call this global village. If the economy of a one country is going down, it impacts the neighbors too, neighbor countries too, right? So it's a whole, and neighbor countries too. It's a domino effect, right? Everybody getting affected with the Ukraine grain issues now, right? Now there is in the German, I was talking to Divya, there is a protest about fossil fuels
Yeah,
using the
gas,
because Russia is not supplying the gas, right? Because that's natural gas is less carbon. So these things basically, where is Russia or Ukraine thing? How many countries get affected with that? So it's same thing in an economy or and the money matters. It impacts us. Our fixed term rates are based on Canadian bond yield rate. How many people actually check that part, the bond market? Bond market is directly impact on the our fixed term rates. We always pay when you talk about rates are going up and high is always prime rate. That is based on the overnight lending rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have to read about the bonds market too, because this is not the time the customers you can suggest for the variable rate. Yes, this time didn't go up. You never know. Maybe next time will not go up.
40% chances, according to this.
Right. But that's why the majority of the customer they're looking for a short term or long term mortgages for peace of mind, right? Yeah. So that's why we have to be. This is our responsibility to keep an eye on these things. Basically, the more we give a good information to the customers, more they will definitely stay with you, and they will refer you more because the trust established there because you're providing the right information to them. Right.
So the bond rate depends on what? If a fixed term rate depends on
Yes, fixed terms rates are based on the posted rates, and posted rates are based on the Canadian bonds yield rate. Yield, man, Canadian bond yield, right? So we will talk. There's so many things to learn, Pooja. But yes, today is basically my introduction to when a customer coming, how to analyze the whole file based on these 5 C's, right? Yeah. So next, let's go to next one. Right? Corrector. Again, the corrector. I asked a question previously. If Amit is asking me, give me $500, you know, to borrow $500. So what I will ask the Amit questions, you know.
When are you gonna give me back? And how are you gonna give me back?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Why you need that? Okay.
Because it's
Oh, for
my
this.
house.
Oh, fine. Oh, well, fine, fine. All right. Because we are friends also,
I have a
right?
party.
So the questions are there. But corrector. Last year I gave it to him. He said he will return in 2 months.
Mm.
It took me almost 6 months to 5 calls to remind him, and then he gave me half of that. And after 6 months, he gave me half of that. That is correct.
Payment history.
So the corrector, let's read the definition here, is can you, okay, corrector, the past behaviors predict the future tendencies,
Mm.
right? Lenders put weight on your past payments responsibilities, how long you have been employed, and how long you have lived at your present address. The lender is looking for clients that show stability and reliability. That is correct, basically. I used to work with a company 3 years back. After 1 year, I changed to B. After 6 months, I changed to C. Now I'm working with D, and I apply for a mortgage. As an underwriter, what you gonna look on that?
No
How long
stability.
are you gonna stay in this company?
Stability.
Yeah.
Why? The question,
Mm.
is he getting fired?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or maybe he's not stable. So if he used to make 60 to 80, 80 to 100, 100 to 20,
Yeah, that is it.
makes sense,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
But if like a 60 to 80, then 80 to go 70 again, and 70 to go 50 again,
Yeah.
the annual income. So we have to see those things basically. What we do, we just look at the present situation, because banks or a lender's policy says, oh, full-time permanent employee
Mm.
out of probation.
Mm.
Okay, but we have to check this part. Or if there is a reason for that, we have to write in our notes in corrector that this is the reason what happened.
Mm.
Customer used to work in a company, the company moved to US, so he has to find another job immediately. So he find another job. So after another job, he got a better option, so he moved to C, right? And in the C to D, that is explanation there too.
Mm.
Mostly company, or you can say he got layoff there, right? And that's why he got this job now. Makes sense also. There should be some story, there's some reason behind it. If we're not going to tell the reason, underwriter will not going to call the customer to ask about these questions. They don't. Underwriter not supposed to call your customers.
So mortgage agents put some paragraph about the.
Of course,
About,
we call it loan notes.
okay.
So there is an application. We have to, in detail, we have to explain about that.
Otherwise, they can make their own perception.
Yeah.
That would be wrong as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And another thing, I use, for example, a line of credit. Limit is $30,000, and I use it for $25,000. And from last 1 year, my balance stays there. I'm just paying interest only payments. I'm not able to bring the balance down. There's a question mark there. Why? I'm generating good income, but maybe my lifestyle or my line of credit from last 5 years, it was 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yes, there's no late payment. Fine. Credit scores looks okay too, but it's neck to neck. So that is also shows. So in credit report, it's overall credit report. If you see there is no late payment, there is no collections, there's no judgment, and still the credit score is low. Means it is 680. and customer has
It's used more than the 30% of the.
no more than 50%.
Okay.
But one thing, if you're keeping a higher balance for a long time,
Mm.
it automatically system catch it. It's a risk because
Yeah, you can collapse anytime.
yes, because you're not paying it down. You're not showing any a
Sign of
betterment
improvement.
or sign of improvement. So that is also correct. Other thing,
Even if they are paying the minimum
Yeah.
amount.
yeah,
Okay.
because minimum amount is interest only,
Yeah.
right? On top of the you're working a good salary, $100,000, and your car lease is $2,200. What it shows that, right? It
Yeah.
shows that the customer love the cars, luxury, right? And sometime I see a customer has credit cards for the, some customer I've seen it, some diamond companies, credit cards are here. So there's luxury lifestyle. There's nothing wrong with that. But as an underwriter, I have to see, like he's really serious about to, the big purchase, and he's able to, it's lifestyle. If your lifestyle is affecting, it's not easy to handle. There's some standard you're maintaining in a lifestyle, right? And you want to buy a house. Yes, okay. You qualify also. Fine. But I can ask, okay, you know one thing? Can you have any guarantor or co-signer, please? Then you say ratios are okay, down payment is this, and how about
Yeah. Yeah, as a buyer.
why not is getting approved?
Yeah, as a buyer, I will ask. this
Yeah.
question, yeah.
But
Uh,
these things you have to tell buyer.
But still, again, as a competitive or an argumentative buyer, if I ask, like, see, everything is in place, I pass each and every criteria, okay, and my lifestyle, I've given you all the information, black and white. Still, you're asking me to get a guarantor or a co-signer. Why should I do that? Why am I entitled to? Why should I do that?
To get the
Loan, mortgage. Well, no, yeah, but I have passed each and every other factor.
But your credit score is low.
No, credit score is also one of the
And then they
factors.
will not ask if.
no, they will not ask because because it impacts the credit report reflects so many things in there. Or you can ask for that. Okay, your this credit card is neck to neck, or this line of credit is neck to neck, or I just use and pay, but I will pay it off. But so you can say the lifestyle of the person. The credit shows so many things about the customer.
Like we tell them the story in the notes,
Mm.
they also make their own story with the papers.
Yeah.
Which they see.
Yeah.
So if there is any reason, then only they will ask you for
No,
the
yeah, but because I have come across with one of the guys because he narrated it like again exactly this situation happened. He said that I passed each and every other factor, but still, of course, the same thing, exactly ditto, the same situation. He's having a line of credit which he is paying off minimum payments for the past 6 months. Has used it 6 months before, and he's just paying off for the time being, just the interest only payments. And when he went out for a second mortgage, that is when he still was eligible for the second mortgage as well. He based on all the factors and everything, but still he was asked for a guarantor, not a co-signer, guarantor.
Because definitely the underwriter has something in the mind through all the scenario. They find it out that this person maybe default, so they want some extra guarantee or cushion for that, basically.
And this
Yeah.
guy went competitive.
Right,
Once
of
that
course.
question asked,
An example, did you come here as a PR?
No.
Okay, you had the CSR score.
Mm.
Okay, so there is a minimum eligibility to get into the pool.
Mm.
Okay, so the lenders give the requirements, that is a minimum eligibility.
Mm.
Now you get into the pool, you are eligible for the mortgage,
Mm.
but then thereafter, whatever documents you submit to
yeah, IRCC.
IRCC,
Mm.
on the basis of that, they take a decision. They can reject your file. So similarly, lender can reject the file because you are meeting the minimum requirements, but there is something which they have noticed. So either you have to provide them the proof or they can cancel it. So they are not obliged that if you're meeting the minimum requirements, they have to give you the mortgage.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because I was like perplexed. He was asking me. He knows that I have completed this course and I'm practicing right now. And he asked me, "You tell me why? What is it?" I was like, I don't know.
That's why I remember I used to work for a financial institution back in 2006. So Sajan's name was previous name was I think so Janvat, right? Yeah. So they brought a program, a 10% down, loan to value 90%, interest only payments. One of the lender, a lender, because they said the youth is more towards the lifestyle. They are not in the mindset to pay the house faster. So they need a more cash flow because they want to travel and better car and clothing and so many things, right? Brands. So it's definitely youth definitely attract for that. Nothing wrong with that. But there was a product for that, 10% down, interest only payment. So your premium was, I think so, over a quarter or 2 quarter or something was a higher. I don't remember, but I think so that product we need more these days. Yeah. It is not a lifestyle. It is the other expenses are so high. So we need a more cash flow. So or maybe there is a privilege. First 2 years, there is no principal. After that, P&I will start or something.
What a teaser? No, not teaser.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
No.
Not teaser rich, but
Mhm.
interest only pay.
So the character is all about stability and reliability
Mm.
and your past history
Mm.
of payments and everything.
Mm.
Right.
Okay.
And some of the you can see mostly I seen in credit reports. There is a collection by Rogers, collection by
Mm.
Thales or something like that. So many. Sometimes the customers they just go take a plan, take a phone, and after that cancel it. And there is some. If you're canceling it, there is some cancellation fee or penalty. I don't want to go to another one. So, but these things affect this shows the character of the customer, and we have this is our responsibility of that. That's why any customer we meeting, ask the credit report first. I will show you a credit report, 1 or 2 credit reports today about the clients, and you can see the difference and all this season there, right? So now moving to the another one. Collateral is a pledge of property or other assets you are borrowing against. How marketable is property you are financing? How much money are you putting down? The property provides a means of at least partial recovery if you were to default on the mortgage loan. If the lender finds a weakness, one of the C's of credit, but everything else is fine, they may ask for more money to be put down on the property so that their collateral position becomes stronger. All right. Now coming back to the point. Majority of the lenders, basically, especially the B lenders, when you're purchasing a condominium apartment, they consider, especially the old buildings, they consider high risk because they have a higher maintenance fee. And another thing may be their condo corporations financials there may not enough reserve funds also. So that's collateral. That affects collateral. In condominium, in case of a condominium apartment purchase, not the builder purchase, in resales, they ask for the status certificate. That status certificate, there is a financials also for that corporation. You always ask one thing from the customer, that is there any special assessment? For example, your condominium fee is $400 a month in regular, but he's paying or she's paying $600. There is a $200 special assessment for 2 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's-
the
yeah.
funds.
So bank always want to see that condominium corporations' financials are directly impact the price of that building.
Mm.
There was a case in Etobicoke North. I think it was 10 Markbrook Lane. If you Google 10 Markbrook Lane, there was some fraud happened in condominium corporation, and the prices go down because there's quite a loss, and couple of $100 for a couple of years the unit owners has to pay, and majority lenders were staying away to lend on that building. I think if you Google it, 10 Markbrook Lane. I hope it's 10. Maybe I'm not saying wrong. If I'm wrong, I apologize.
Mark Brook Lane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Close to Steeles Avenue West.
Yes.
It shows that there was a break-in.
No, it's over 10, 15, 10, 12 years old. So it's just an example to you guys,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
On top of that, when you're buying a townhouse, condo townhouse, and a freehold townhouse, the lenders look at them differently.
Yeah. Freehold townhouse is more or like a semi-detached or something. More or less like.
Okay, because of the condominium corporation involved in those townhouses, especially you see the Queen and Henson Road. We recently did a closing over there. Yeah. So maintenance fees are, I think so,
700
something like that, And there's in front of Albion Mall, there's an old condominium townhouses, but their maintenance fees are higher. So if you compare to the freehold townhouse, as a lender, freehold townhouse is a better collateral for me.
You can tell about it. It's the same 10 Markbrook Lane.
10 Markbrook Lane?
Khan, I
Yeah.
heard about this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there was some definitely fraud happened there in the condominium corporation, and the poor homeowners has to be suffer a lot, and it was in millions actually. Yeah. So anyways, these are the examples I'm giving you, the collateral. So we have to know that, especially in the Brampton and the Etobicoke North area, if any address come of a building, I'm pretty much know about that. Okay, and ask these questions to the customer, right? How much your maintenance fee, and read the MLS remarks. Underwriter, read the MLS remarks. Read the MLS properly from top to bottom, and the remarks. Sometime the real estate agent put the remarks there, or special assessment. They have to disclose if there is special assessment in there, right? Because if the seller doesn't know, it happens to me. It happens to me. I bought a property in 2021 Markbrook Lane. It was my first condominium apartment. My condominium fee was $356. I remember it. And then when I moved there, and I got a notice that I have to pay $170 something for 8 months extra, because there's the pool in the underground pool was leaking or something, because pool was in the middle of the levels, so it's leaking. They have to repair and all these things because it damaged the parking floor and all these things. For that they need a revenue, and for that they have to collect the extra money for that. But I am 100% sure the previous owner, he was aware of that, and the real estate agent was, but never told me about that. But I was a first time home buyer, so I just
Similar case that we heard yesterday. The guy who called, who is looking for a litigation lawyer. He bought the house in Milton.
Mhm.
In the MLS description, it says that no sidewalk on the parking.
Mhm.
He bought the house last year. Now this year the prices are down. I don't know what is the reason. If that is the reason prices are down, or if actually that was the reason he called. He said that he is looking for a litigation lawyer because he wants to sue that previous seller. Now the city he actually got the notice that there will be a sidewalk on the driveway. They are making a sidewalk because it was new construction. So he's saying, I bought the house and I knew that there is no sidewalk.
Okay.
I wanted to park 2 cars, so I decided to go for that house. Now they're making the sidewalk,
Okay.
so I won't be able to park 2 cars.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
and I want to sue the seller because he didn't tell me earlier. Okay, and yeah, but then MLS listing says
Uh-huh.
no sidewalk. Specifically, he mentioned, and if the plan was made before that, and
Yeah.
it says that there will be a sidewalk in future, then yeah, seller is in trouble.
Exactly. Yeah. That is the key. When
So,
they have decided.
Okay. Besides that, coming back to collateral,
Mm.
and another thing, as a lender, I want to see in case of default, simple. Am I able to recover my loan or not? There's a property value $10 million. Customer putting $4 million down, need a $6 million mortgage. Huge risk,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In case of default, if I have to put that market back in the, put the property back in the market, how many buyers you can see in $10 million? these
Oh,
days?
very less.
All right.
Very less.
So collateral is an issue. I may be asking, maybe put more down payment. Maybe I need a $6 million down payment in this case,
Mm.
Yeah. Because when property market value go down, so first impact happen to the
Why?
luxury homes, bigger homes.
Oh.
Mm.
Okay.
Because small homes are still in demand because lots of immigrants are coming every year, and definitely they start from the small homes to buy, right? That's a different story what happened in 2021 and 2022 because everybody was buying $1 million home, and that home may be not worth even that, but it's a $1 million home. So collateral is important. You buying in GTA, lender's mindset is different,
Mm.
positive. If you're buying outside of GTA, it's different. You're buying in the countryside, it's different. Collateral has I remember I did a mortgage a long time back with a B lender, and I was not aware of that. It was a ranch and a house. The lender told me the foundation is wooden. Wood, it's not concrete. So they increased 20% down. They approved it, and the house and certain acreage. After that, they asked 35% down when they find that. So they can increase the higher down payment. So property, the collateral is very important, and it's our responsibility to analyze it. Read MLS properly, and based on that, make some comments accordingly. Yeah. You got my point now? Now, for example, one of my clients buying a cottage. So he put an offer, and the first thing what I ask in cottage, is it 4-season cottage? Like you can live all the year in the cottage. There's access to the cottage even during winter when the snow time, a proper road, a paved road, or somebody gonna clean it, or it was a three. It was a not a 4-season. It was a 3-season. But he never knew it. What is the 3-season and 4-season? There was a 5 days conditions. He signed the mutual release and canceled the deal. Now he bought it actually. He put an offer on the 4 seasons. Because what happened, the 4-season is definitely cottage is easy to sell because getting a mortgage on that is easier. You can, because major schedule A lenders or prime lenders can give a mortgage on easier on those 4-season cottages. Yeah, because you can live
Throughout the year.
through the year,
Okay.
and especially if there is a propane gas and it is forced air heating, positive. If it's wooden heating, it is definitely not considered accordingly like that.
You mean a fireplace?
Yes,
Okay.
Yes, so that can be four season basically. They want a forced air.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
So the supply of the gas may be from the propane tank outside, right? Not from the like city directly. We
Yeah.
be getting the heating, but yes, inside is HVAC and proper, the blower and the furnace in there. Yeah, so it's considered as a four season cottage. So we have to see the collateral in this case. When customer is buying a property, especially unique properties or any condominium. Now I'm gonna ask one more question to you guys. Uh, Customer is coming to you and saying, "Okay, I'm buying a house in Etobicoke North." It's a real story, and my house worth is this much. I want to sell it, and I was reading the remarks because he has to buy another one. What he did, he made the whole house in shape rooming house for the students. You know, even the den beside the kitchen is one room, and living room divided in two is two rooms, and even the basement have maybe five rooms, right? So, and he brought the buyer also with him. That he is going because they're friends, right? So know each other. So because it is an income generated property, and students are living in there. So I asked him, when you're going to list? He said, I'm not going to list because we have a private deal. All right. But I want to know about the property. Okay. So he told, I did this, I did this, I did this. If I have to submit an application and after that it is approved, because lender doesn't know, for them it's a single family detached home. But they will ask for appraisal. When appraisal will take pictures and send to the lender, then you see exactly lender, they don't land on the rooming house or student housing, right? So I ask, okay, sir, sorry, I can't do this mortgage, basically. It's good to ask questions about that. Because it is also our responsibility. You have to protect our lender also. So in case of these collaterals, we have to know.
Is it like 100% no that they won't fund student rooming house? 100%.
Yeah.
But why?
Risk.
Because of students can be careless and all that.
No, if it's a single family house, in that house, maybe single family. For example, in my house is 4-bedroom house, right? So one bedroom is occupied me, one is my daughter, one is my son, and one is my parents, right? So okay, 6 people are living in there. But in the same house, I will make those rooms, divide, and then 12 people are living there. It's a motel. It become commercial.
Yeah.
No, it's a risk for the bank. It's risk for the bank.
Say for example, what if the city comes and put in a ring? Okay, you guys are using too much
Yeah,
water and too
yeah.
much hydro. So now we are considering this as a commercial. And if they put a fine on top of it or increase the property tax.
First of all, the property
Then
is
your income goes down.
designed and legally permit only for single family home. If you convert it to multi-family home, right? That is, first of all, there is no license for that. There's no permit for that, right? On top of that, lenders don't want to lend on these collaterals because they are not what they are.
So
Okay.
this is happening in almost every house.
Yeah.
I mean, Brampton, this is like
I understand this is happening, but again, it is regulator's job. It is whoever is responsible. I don't want to name anyone here. I don't want somebody come after me.
Just ask the owner if he has informed his insurance company.
Company, that's all.
Yeah.
Of course.
If they know,
Yeah.
then in case if any mishappening happens, like no one is responsible. Insurance will say no, we will not give you anything.
Everyone knows this. Yeah.
There must be in the Google. Check it out. Etobicoke North homeowner fined for using. I think so. There was a fire in the house, and maybe someone get hurt or not. But when The fire department came and they find that much people lived in there, and they find the owner on that time. Even they converted garage in the rooms now.
Yeah, I've heard of that also.
There is
Before my wife and kid came,
Uh-huh.
the house that I was staying in Scarborough,
Uh-huh.
we were staying in the basement. The owner lived at the main level. He was a Bangladeshi. He
Okay.
did exactly the basement what you did, what you said. He made no small compartments. We were like 7 to 8 people that we lived there. And of course, at that time I was, doing the survival job. COVID
I
time.
understand.
And finally, he converted the garage and he rented it out.
It's a business, converting garage into a studio apartment
Yeah.
and doing
But
Airbnb.
but you know,
With a separate
as-
side entrance.
but one thing again, I will repeat, as a citizen of this city and citizen of this province and beautiful country, and this things happening over here, like the crisis of the homes, it is not supposed to be. Not supposed to be. We should have to all go home and send an email to all these province, city, and federal level MPP, MPPs, and say your concern about that.
Mm.
Otherwise, I don't think so. There's anything going to be happen soon. We are so behind in the housing market.
Yeah.
So behind
But
in
then
housing
that's
market.
bound to happen, right? Like 3,500 rent and all. How are new
That is
people
insane.
supposed to
3,500 for the
forget
basement.
new, even old people, people who are here for 20 years cannot afford 3,000.
Like we humans are behaving other humans like cattle,
Seriously.
Mm.
right?
Mm.
It's a house for living. It's not a pig farm. I'm sorry for my language. But anyway, I'm on live on the YouTube. If whoever is listening, but this is my own view. This is not supposed to happen. We are getting worse and worse every day. And we who has to speak? You guys came as a student in this country, right? You accepted the permanent residence of this country, and you're going to be a citizen of this country, and you are the future of this country. That's why we bringing so many youths over here to make this country more better, because we need, because average population age is right now, I think so, approximately 47.1 years.
Mm.
And the country like Colombia is 29 years, India is 35 years plus, right? So we are lack of youth here. That's why we that's your responsibility, and you have to speak up about that. Speak up about that. I'm not saying to be go on the roads and agitate, no, but tell your concern to whom you're electing,
Mm.
right? And give an education to your client also. That consequences are huge. If something happen in the house by chance, if 10 students or 12 students are living in the house, somebody leave the gas open or stove open and here and there, and water leakage, it's a huge damage for that property. And whatever the money they're expecting to be making there, it is basically, the fines are huge. But anyway, coming back to the collateral. So you understand what I mean. When 5 C's are very important in there. First, make your notes about the 5 C's. Then ask the stories to the customer. And why this, why that. And after that, explain or notify to your underwriter about that. Because there's a very simple term called misrepresentation. If you're not providing the information in detail, then it's misrepresentation either by you, or you can say your client never told me. But it's your responsibility to ask these questions from the client when you have some red flags or doubts about the collateral, right? On top of that, I think so that's much. We already talked about collateral credit. Okay, this is where your credit report is reviewing, including your beacon or credit score. Have you had difficulty meeting payments in the past? Are your credit trades at the credit limit, or do you pay them in full each month? How long have you managed credit? All of these are factors that determine if you are likely to pay your mortgage payments as agreed. This is pretty much when you have a credit report in front of you, it explains you everything, right? So the first things, in the credit, you have to see what first thing when this credit report was generated. It means
Should be.
how long the customer having credit. So it's over 2 years. Okay, fine. Because the minimum requirements, whatever, I mean, I love this word, minimum requirements. So minimum requirements, 2 years established credit, right? Okay. So that is complete. But for example, I'm 25 years in this country and I got a one credit card and I'm keeping that credit card. I'm not using it, but even sometime I have to pay $10 a year for not using it, but I'm keeping it because it show my history of 25 years. Yeah.
But sir, if you don't use it, that is also kind of questionable. Say you're not using it, you're not. So your credit score hasn't
No,
increased.
that particular I'm not using it.
Yeah.
Yes, but if you're not using it, but once a while, anyway, it is very hard to say you're not using it.
Okay.
Yes, if my parents they're retired, they're living with me, they don't need to use the credit card. So in that case, it's fine. But as I do tell them, sometimes use it if you need it. You know, you must have to know how to use it. So yes, it's a credit-based, environment and society here. So we have to use the credit cards, once a while, basically, because it send a notification to your credit reporting agency, and it also there is some movements are happening, right? But it doesn't mean that you're not using it, right? But in some cases, I've seen it, especially the we can say old school people because they love to use their debit.
Yeah.
If the money is in the account, make a purchase. Otherwise, I don't want to use. That's okay. Not an issue. So no balance, but those people always have a better liquid assets too. So that is another thing is strong, right? But their credit score will be amazing. If they're not using it, that's fine. They should not be inactive because sometimes when you are not using your account or any savings account or checking account for a long time for any financial institutions dormant. So you have to go and reactivate again, if you're not using that. Yeah. So, but not using is not a negative thing. Credit you use when you need it, right? But the financial institutions basically want you to use it because they're not making any interest of it. They're not making any profit of it. But you are in the pool of the credit, right? And you're not using it. For them, is a bad business.
Yeah.
So that's why they charge $10 or $10.99 something like that every year from me for not using it. But I'm keeping it because it gives me an amazing history of 25 years of the credit and without no late payment in that. Yeah. So another thing is your payment. How many late payments you have? Do you have a late payments or when it happened? And why it happened, we have to know from the customer. If all some credit cards or line of credits are neck to neck with the limit is 30,000, usage is 29,000, over usage sometime the customer has $1,000 credit card only. They use for 1,000 plus interest accumulated, says the balance is 1,048, your limit is 1,000, your score is going to go down. So we have to educate them. Okay, this credit card, do not use them more than $500. Otherwise, rating will go down. Right. So this is the whole credit report we have to see here. And what else is there? All these are factors determining if you are likely to pay your mortgage payments. I agreed because these things impact when underwriter is making a decision about the amount of the mortgage you are going to get approved by them, right? Any questions about that?
Um, No, yeah.
Hmm?
I forgot the question.
Not a problem. When you remember, let me know. So let's come to the one of the more important is capital. This is your net worth, assets minus liabilities. Are you in a positive position? Will you have access to any funds should you incur any unforeseen circumstances? Not all the five C's have to be perfect. Not many are, because every client will be
Yeah.
a little bit here and there in any of these C's, right? As an example, your capital or net worth may be in a negative position, but this could be due to student loans and a new degree in your field of study. We will emphasize this to the lender. So I did a mortgage for a dentist, and dentist has a clinic, good income, but there is $150,000 student loan. In that case, your net worth is negative because of the loan, right? But it's a professional, and the banks have a special rate of interest and a program also for doctors and dentists. So this is a perfect example, whatever they're saying in this case, or any professional you having it. Did a mortgages for nurses, registered nurses, right? But they have a $80,000 student loan. They're paying almost $700 a month. Net worth is negative, but they study nurses in healthcare. So, and that kind of this kind of employment is always in demand because this is a health profession, right?
So, if I take a situation like, suppose I have a second house, which I
Mm-hmm.
bought for 500,000 and it's worth almost 1.2 million now.
Mm-hmm.
So, my even though my mortgage and my rent is the same, and I'm probably paying property taxes
Mm-hmm.
from my pocket,
Mm-hmm.
still it is going to, when you're saying net worth, assets minus liabilities, it will take 1.2 million as the net asset, or will it take 500,000 as asset to calculate?
One point whatever the house value is your asset.
Value, right?
Is asset. Yeah.
So it is the
It is
market rate.
it is a great example, and thanks for this question, because it is good cushion for the lender in case of emergencies. Definitely, why we buying the investment properties? We want to buy the investment properties because we want to.
Either refinance it or sell it.
The main thing is for the long term to generate wealth in shape of rent, in shape of appreciation of the property, and when any emergency happens, we can refinance or even sell that property. That's the purpose of an investment. One property is enough for us to live. Why we buying another properties here? Because we want to get rich. Simple as that. We want to make more money.
Extra source of income.
Extra source of income also in shape of rent, right? So that is definitely example is there. So in case in other C's you are a little bit here and there, but that will give a good cushion and for the underwriter to think, amazing, $500,000 equity in the house, and that house she's not living, she's renting, and that in emergencies is amazing. Yeah. Same thing. You have a great portfolio of RRSPs, stocks, investment, GIC, any kind of this kind of a liquid asset. In case of emergencies, you can cash it out. We call fallback funds basically. That's comes under capital, and that supports you in the future, and it's positive. And another example may be a bruised credit when you were ill or going through a divorce. However, everything has been paid as agreed for the last year, but have a good job stability and are putting 10% down. These factors may mitigate the bruised credit. Again, genuine case. In case of a divorce, and mostly divorce are, nasty, majority of them, you know. And in that case, why I have there's a joint mortgage, there's a joint property tax, both are it's a matrimonial home, and sometimes the joint credit cards or line of credit, and that's both spouses say I'm not paying, I'm not paying. So it is understood, yes, in these cases this happens, right? Um, maybe in divorce, the one of the main earner was, for example, one spouse was a main earner, right? And now, because of that, the that earner is not paying, the other spouse is trying to catch up. Use the line of credits to pay the mortgage payments, then use the credit cards to make the payments. Now, one or two or a couple of late payments happens, right? And after that, it's settled down, property sold, money back, half and half money, whatever the agreement happened, and that spouse want to buy another property for himself or herself, and we can see there's a late payments, we can see there's a credit cards up to date, and the story is this: okay, there is a $500,000 from the proceed of the sales are sitting in the account, customer buying a property for million, $100,000 that's going to pay off, right? Yes, there's a late payments because of divorce issue, and the $400,000 out of $400,000 is there 350 is down payment, 50,000 she or he want to keep it secured and qualify for the $650,000, and there is a good case for that. Basically, what they're talking about. Then the bruise credit that can be mitigated in this case. Genuine, how genuine is the case is also basically, some in some cases it's acceptable that yes it happens, yeah. So but other four C's are good.
Yeah, character.
Yeah.
No.
No,
And-
character
yeah.
character is there's a story of for character,
Mm.
right? But you see the capacity is there, collateral is good, right? Yes, credit got impacted a bit,
Yeah,
right?
character got impacted.
Yeah, credit got impacted, but the character was not bad. It happened because of the
Situation.
family issues. There's a story for character, right? So it can be mitigated in this case. It's not an emotional decision. It is a very logical decision, right? But in some cases, because their human values are there, we have to consider those things, And another one, perhaps your capacity or affordability is right at the maximum ratios, and you are fairly new on your job, but your credit is A1. We would rationalize that you always prioritize your debt repayment each month. There's another cases also that you were on the job for 4 or 5 months, for 4 or 5 years, and layoff, and you start a new job. It's brand new job, and you apply for mortgage. Great, but it is that C is one of the C is affected with, but we consider it. There's a genuine reason for that. So all these 5 C's we have to put in our loan notes, and we have to give the reason why this C is weak. And the reason is genuine. And main thing is definitely end of the day, capacity is very important also, because GDS or TDS are important, because they are supposed to be in tolerance based on guidelines. That is important part in here. So when the customer comes, he only talk about the good things customer has. When you ask, oh, there was a late payment in Capital One in 2021 December. Oh, I don't remember it. Doesn't matter. But you had to write a story about that. It happens, in 24 months, this happens. Even because it is showing in their credit report. So for that, you have to make some notes about that. Or was traveling, or sometime it happens most of the cases.
See,
Yeah.
the server maintenance and it didn't go through.
Changing the address, the bill payments are coming, but but now in the world of technology, everything is online, right? So you know it very well that when the payment has to be go or not, but things happen sometime, right? And there is a reason for that. In one case, um, there was a late payment 2 years back for a client, and I wrote to my underwriter. Customer was student, and it was a limited income, and there was a one genuine case because the money was coming from back home to support, right? And due to family issues, the money was not came in time, and there was a 2 or 3 late payments of the customer. But now, the customer completed the study, got an amazing job, and
History is good.
could you please, give an exception on that?
Hmm.
And in one case, I wrote it down. The customer was not, I mean, caring much about the credits. And you see, in the last 18 months, there's no late payments, and the credit card debts are going down because a proper counseling was done. Customer learned from the mistakes. Now, last 18 months are
Up to date.
up to date and clear, and kindly provide exception. Um, I have to fight a lot for this deal. Basically, the income was so genuine, and the customer was careless. Was honestly, he was no customer. I was traveling. I was not caring. I was spending and earning and this and that. So in a young age happened. It's even his 23, 24 years age is not like there is a financial wisdom there. Basically, yeah. So, but on that age it happens basically. But after that, I have to fight for it. I think so. Maybe I have to increase a bit down payment. So because parents jump in to help, they don't want to be a co-signer because they have their own houses. But I think so. Extra 5% I have to give more. In that case, then there was a exception on that case. Ratios were good. Score was between fair and good, right? And it was a high ratio mortgage. I think so. I have to increase the 5% down. Small property from 5 to 10, but they accepted it. But underwriter was laughing. Why you said that the customer was careless? I said he was in the youth age. It's a genuine case. I'm saying it, but this is a learning process of life also, right? And they did exception on that, but 5%, maybe 20,000 more as a gift I have to show because money was coming from the parents, and that was a great example. Now I want to show you a credit report here. This coffee is okay right now.
Sure.
Thank you.
I got this cough.
Sore throat, weather changes and everything starts. And on top of it, my daughter, she transferred her cold to me.
Is she going to
The
daycare or
transfer the
school?
cough to me.
Is she going to daycare or school?
And now after the September school opened. But she transferred this even before the school reopened.
Because when they start going to daycare and school, they
Yeah.
get it quite often.
Yeah, no, but she was more into ice creams, juice, this, especially when the summer starts. Whenever we go out, and I need one ice cream. I need one ice cream.
Is there?
We have to reconnect.
It's not moving. I don't know why.
I think when the screen is stagnant, it does that.
Is there?
Now you have to
I
redo
opened
it.
my credit report,
Now it's there,
I
now
have
it's
so
there.
much of credit.
It's there now.
I went to Credit Karma.
Okay, so this is a credit report, right? And so I hide the customers' basically names in here. So in credit report, it starts with the customer's name, right? partial date of birth here, right? And a partial social insurance number. And these are the phone number associated with the customer. It can be a previous and current also, right? And the addresses also 2017, 2019, and again. See, the score is 643. It's a fair score. And is self-employed, construction industry. Customer has a 4 revolving credit. Revolving means you can use and pay off. Credit card, line of credits. No mortgage. Installment means it can be a car loan or any student loan or something. Opens, they are the other basically
Mobile bills or-
yes, utilities also. Let's start with this is the one credit card the customer has it. What is the limit is of this credit card? 3,900. Balance is 0. This credit card is from 2016. Notes closed by guarantor. It's closed, right? And see the delinquencies. 2017, 18, 18 February, 18 March, 18 June, 18 July, 2019, 19, 19, 19, 20, 20. All right, and this is closed by the guarantor means it's closed. Yeah,
By the
but it's
bank.
by the bank, yes. Again, there's another credit card. Limit is 2,500, use 1353 since 2015. Again, 19, 19, 19, 20, 20, 20. 22 May. So after 2022 May, there is no late payment. So almost 1 year and couple of months, right? Now go to another, because there are 4 revolving. There's another credit card. Limit is 4,500. Balance is 0.
Closed.
Since 2015. 18 it was closed, right? And 2019, 2019, 2020, 2020, right? There's another one here, right? Limit is 2,500, use 22,044. Quite a
High usage.
high usage. Again, 2015. So late 18, 18, 18, 19, 19, 19, 20, 20. Okay. So there's no mortgage, but installment. There was a loan from the bank. Balance is 0. It's fully paid off.
Closed.
Because it's paid off, it's closed. So the late payment was in 19 and 19 and 20. So what happened in this case?
It's a joint installment. That's all.
No, that means that the spouse has, it's joint.
It's joint.
Yeah.
Maybe divorce.
So this client, now to see the inquiries. These inquiries are latest in September 2023, 14. That's customer check the own credit, right? So when it says no, no means it's not a hard inquiry. It's a soft inquiry, right? So you see these inquiries. The mortgage center, this is the one of the lender, this is the one of the lender, this is another lender, this is another lender. All these hard inquiries are here, right?
So he might be trying to get some credit at that time.
And now come to the public records. Public records means they are available for public.
I mean,
Bankruptcy is a public. Consolidation. Collections, how many collections?
2.
Debt recovery, 1. So let's see. What kind of a smart home oil farm first, right? It is paid and 0 balance, but it will not purge from the
report. For
report.
6 years.
Yeah. AB Health Services, something again is paid. It will not purge till, because the paid was in 2023.
Yeah.
So how long? The first delinquency happened in 2018, January, paid in and settled in after 5 years, customer settling it.
Mhm.
A small amount for 173. Sometimes, humans' ego. Why have to pay? They don't know the consequences that, right? So we have to educate the customer for that. If whenever you have a dispute for small amount like that, pay it and open dispute about that.
Okay.
Don't stop paying.
Okay. Okay.
173, if the customer pay 173 and then open a dispute, let's see. Otherwise, the other company has to return you the money if you are right. And let's go to the worst one. What she was saying here, divorce.
Okay.
This is the worst thing. No underwriter want to see this.
Okay.
Family responsibilities. When are you getting a separation or divorce, and there's some responsibilities on you for spouse or children, you have to. Yeah, if you're not paying that, this is basically, you can say it's more emotional thing too.
The curse of being a man.
And there's no judgment end of the day. And this is the secure loan. Is basically it is a registration of the loan, right? It's a public record, because when you're buying for example, car, and in your credit report you will see there is a registration of the security
Hmm.
registration. It shows there basically.
But this is a mortgage cap.
No, there is a car loan anyway.
Okay, it's
Yeah,
a car now.
It was car for that, and that's all. So in this kind of a situation, what you're going to suggest to customer? Because customer want to go to a lender.
First, the
Character.
credit score.
Mm-hmm.
Why the credit score? Because of the delinquencies with 2 BMO credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
That too, after one after the other, each and every month that happened. First, I'll ask for the reason. So that basically the credit score reduced because of those delinquencies. First, I will ask for those reasons.
So out of 5 C's, 1 C is called character.
Correct, yeah.
Is totally bruised.
Yeah,
And then the second one is
credit.
credit.
Because of the character, credit is also.
Okay. So collateral, I know the collateral is great.
Hmm. Okay.
It's a good property,
Okay.
right? And capacity,
Hmm.
the customer is self-employed,
Hmm.
and
Yeah. Consider.
and he's a developer, right? In the construction industry, he's a self-employed. So what happening to construction industry these days? What you think is we're busy?
No.
Cost of construction is increased, less
Regulation.
buyers, and then regulation is tight,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah.
All right.
Yes.
And the last one is capital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much
Investors.
does he have?
So customer doesn't have any fallback funds. If he have a fallback funds, he's not gonna be, he's not going to be a $20 monthly payment late in that month.
Once for $173. Yeah.
And mortgage amount the customer is looking for 1.4 million. Yes, only 1 C is great because the collateral value is 3 million. The property value is 3 million. He demolition made himself the property, right? And so it's a 3 million. He has a first mortgage private, second mortgage private, right? That's why they're not showing in here.
Okay.
First thing I will ask, give me the commitment of the first and second mortgage or charge. How much is there? And I will see how much the monthly payment. Give me your 6 months bank statements that you are paying your first and second mortgage on time. With the prime lender, this deal is put on the side.
Mhm.
And for B lender, maybe,
Yeah.
right? They might ask of some good guarantor with a good credit also in this case, yes. And yes, the down payment, the security is great.
Mm.
And whatever the customer deserved, I use the word deserve. Deserve is like, it's not like sometimes clients take it very personally. It's not a personally based on these 5 C's. What you have a right to get the best deserved,
Right.
possible rate
And-
or option, right? So right now, the best deserving option for the customer based on the 5 C's was private, and he's private. Now we might be C to collaborate first and second together to go to another private, right? So in this case, if some realtors comes there, oh, first thing they say is, comes in the mind, what is the score?
643.
Which is fair, right? The score is not all that bad. Or what is it that A lenders look only for something and above?
For the A lender, first of all, the so many late payments and so many other things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those.
those are the things basically. Yeah.
But the score,
Score is definitely one part of that. But sometimes the overall we have to look the report in that case. Yeah.
and how long does the impact of a hard inquiry last?
How it works basically. I have 5 trade lines. One, I have a student loan, 2 credit cards, one I have auto loan, one I have my visa. So first of month or second of month, 18th of month, 20th of month, or 29th of month, these things get reported to credit bureau, because you see your visa or visa statement, there's a statement date. On that statement date, whatever the current balance, or you pay on the time, last payment you pay or not, get reported to by the financial institution to the credit reporting agency. So they update accordingly, and then your credit score get effect accordingly.
Right.
So one inquiry is basically, yes, you lose, I think so, 6 to 8 points. I'm not sure exactly, hard inquiry, but that is only a 10% of inquiries are only impacting 10% of rating, I think so. When you go to the Equifax website, they detailed explanation of that
And
basically.
how long does that stay? That loss of 6 to 8 points?
It's a loss. It's a loss. You have to improve it now.
Yeah.
Okay, it happens, right? And there's a no inquiry for 3 months or 4 months or something, then it will go up automatically, right? But its major negative impact is the usage of the limit to balance ratio, late payments, over usage, or if you have so many inquiries. For mortgage industry is basically you have a right to shop around, right? And if there is 2 or 3 inquiries in within the 15 days of a period, it considered as a one,
Another thing I read in
because you're asking for secure
Equifax.
loan.
Yeah, so Equifax, they have the details. So another thing which I was reading, let's say you have one hard inquiry and 6 points are reduced.
Mm.
Another hard inquiry, 6 points are reduced. Okay. But in 1 year, if you have more than 4 inquiries, 4 hard inquiries, okay. So 6, 6, 6, 6, it means 24,
Mm.
but then they will change it to 8, 8, 8, 8. So overall, 4 into 2, 8 points extra reduced.
Mm.
So more than 4 hard inquiries, that's another impact which is going on your credit
Mhm.
report.
So they consider you're a very credit seeker. You're desperate.
Mm.
You're going to A institution, B institution, C institution, applying line of credit to all, right? It means you are somewhere in trouble. You need the money very badly, because that's why you're going all institutions to applying for some credit. But this is a good thing. The soft inquiries, the process is very nice these days, because it doesn't impact on your credit right now.
And sometimes I get a question that in case if there is a pre-approval,
Mm-hmm.
you get a call from the bank that you are pre-approved for 5,000
Credit
increase in your limit or
Mhm.
whatever. So customers ask, shall I accept it or not? Especially new people.
Mm.
Yeah, if it is pre-approved, it will not impact your credit score.
Yeah.
You can accept
And
it.
one very important thing I will talk about, the 1C corrector.
Hmm.
You working with a one financial institution.
Never, I mean, but keep.
I am having a one credit card with one financial institution for 25 years. So I'm with, they will say how long you are with them.
Yeah,
And
the stability.
Stability and your internal, there's a one internal rating also
Yeah.
that works. The financial institutions I used to work, they have a system called MAC. It's MAC rating. So you um, uh, you're applying for a credit or mortgage, and your credit card or line of credit payment is 10 days late. It's not 30 days, 10 days. Your internal rating is down with that institution. They will say pay it off first. Then, otherwise, the system is blocking for new credit. So that's an internal rating also for that. So we will learn with that thing, you know. And the future of, as I said, credit-based society we are in, right? And where we have a privilege to buy a home with only 5% down. Up if you're buying up to 500,000, doesn't matter. You can buy something with a 500,000 or not. Or minimum down payment is 5% of the first 500,000 and 10% of on top of that, right? So how much risk these financial institutions are taking, right? The money you have to make yet 30 years amortization means your house will get paid in 30 years. So the property you're going to pay in 30 years, you got a money in advance for 30 years,
Yeah.
right? But we have to know these things, and we have to accept these facts, and we have to think like a lender also. We have to put our feet in lender's shoes also, right? Because we sometimes we get get away with or carried away with the emotions of clients too, because clients are so many times their demand is based on want. They don't know what exactly they need. So this is our responsibility to check everything, all 5 C's, and explain the customer accordingly.
So, if I may ask one small question,
Mhm.
out of these 5 C's, which one would you say is the most important C that if that is bruised will cause a ripple effect or a domino effect in at least other 1 or 2 C's? Character.
It's a hard to answer, but pretty much as I said, what is the major things I can see is, if someone has no income, why the person has to buy a house if doesn't have a capacity?
Mm.
That's a very basic knowledge. Everybody has it, right?
Mm.
Right. So, and another thing is net worth. Basically, if somebody doesn't have a down payment, why they have to buy a house? Capital I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So those C's, and third one is coming to the corrector. This is the one, and credit. These two are very much based on that. Sometimes you don't have enough income to show, but some private lenders, they are they are not regulated by FISRA, for example, and they are not a conventional. Definitely, they have a CDIC license, mortgage investment corporations, right? But they are not looking too much about income. Means like how much you filed on taxes on as a self-employed. They will say, okay, we're buying for $1 million property. You're putting 50% down. You are self-employed, so they will ask, give us a 3 months bank account statements, how much revenue is coming, and based on they can make their decisions. And if the risk is high, your rate of interest is 1% high, or maybe extra fee they will charge as that in that case, right? So in that case, the capacity that we are not able to approve with a lender or B lender, then we can go to a private lender for that. Yeah. On that case, yes, the capacity is here and there, then Yes, case by case.
Mm.
It's totally case by case.
Mm.
And if,
No.
if there's a three applicants in a mortgage a deal,
Mm.
then you have to see exactly
Yeah.
everyone's.
All three of them, yeah.
Amit sent a deal to a Prompt Financial, and based on their policies, credit score must be 600. But one of the spouse credit score is 761, and one of the spouse score is 595. So in that case, it's
Yeah.
balanced. Yeah. So case by case. Yeah. There is no exactly, black and white in this case. It is depend. All depend. So the purpose of today's, and even um, all the agents are watching online also. So know your KYC, know your client best. Score is not always everything. When you're getting a call from real estate agents, basically, I'm not against that again, but they call because got a client, I'm showing a house. Okay. So husband's score is 751, wife's score is 800 plus. Oh, great.
Okay.
What next? What next?
Exactly.
What
How many
next?
credit cards do they have?
Oh.
What all the debts that they have?
Okay. Wife doesn't work, only husband works. All right. Capacity issue now,
Yeah.
because one income, how much you can qualify for anyone,
Mm.
right? But they always tell you the credit rating first,
Mm.
because the good thing first they want to tell you. It's in our mind here, exactly, all of us.
Mm.
Score is not always everything.
Mm. Mm.
If somebody came from India, got a credit card for $2,000, used the credit card. After 2 months, you will see the score is 830. But when you apply, it's a thin credit
Mm.
because a very new credit.
Mm.
There is no credit history. There is no corrector. So how we can add the corrector? International credit report.
Mhm.
If you pull the international credit report,
Mm.
then if there was a maybe credit card from ICICI or another bank from India, and that will show in there, then that additional corrector in there, So then maybe, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
But if I am the underwriter, I maybe ask for a cosigner.
Mm.
Or there is a product for new to Canada program, 35% down, and you have a full-time job, and there's exception for some GDS or TDS or income also, because you are showing 1 year principal interest payments, PIT, principal interest and property tax payments on this on the side. So there's some products for that to mitigate that 2 or 3 months credit only.
Mm.
Yeah. Or sometime I seen the customer is here for 1 year, got a very good job, especially the ITs, and their capacity is there, right? And the down payments are from own resources, right? So plus they have maybe a little fallback funds also. Only the issue is correct. Basically, we don't have enough details about that. Thin credit, corrector and credit in this case. So what we are ask them, could you provide us any other source? Oh, I'm paying utilities bill, phone bills, okay, automatically from my phone. Give me the bank statements of 1 year to show that your phone bills payments are automatically
Mm.
paid by your from withdrawn from your credit card or something like that, or your credit cards payment you're definitely paying on time.
Mm.
Plus is something from showing you are paying your rent from your account for 12 months, no late rent.
Mm.
Rent is paid on every 15th,
Mm.
so there's a withdraw every 15th of rent,
Mm.
or reference letter from landlord. So
Mm.
that's on to supporting it.
Mm.
Case by case.
Mm.
Yeah, case by case. Never get overwhelmed when the file is coming from the client. Always ask all documents upfront, study them, second opinion from Amit and me, and then we'll sit to bring the client. We will explain them what are the options, possible options are, or to improve your options better, what additional things we need, or maybe co-signing or higher down payment and all these things. So I'm going to finish today's 5 C's, right? But we will keep continue talking about today. So thanks to all my viewers, and see you soon.
Oh, yes.
How many people were online?
Some